And I think that's the thing about you and I is no matter how big we get, we're always going to be thinking about the person we're not helping.
There will always be some bigger thing for us to go do and somebody to help and something that has captured our attention because we live on a broken planet and there are people that are really suffering.
How exciting is it for your operations essentials to be so oversold that there's people overflowing into another room and it's the night of your book launch?
It's a weird feeling because it just doesn't feel we've impacted enough people. And I woke up this morning like, how do we make this thing bigger and how do we do more? And I always thought that people had book launches and these parties and it was just like, oh wow, how spectacular and wonderful. But from my reality is it just feels like we haven't done enough and we're not big enough and we're not doing enough. And
but think about it. I get it because you and I are exactly wired the same way.
Yeah.
But if we go back and look at the last 60 months, I've written a book. You're putting your second book out. So between the two of us, we have 3 books. I have a 4th one coming. We built a business that's doing over $250 million in revenue in 60 months. You and I are exactly alike. We don't stop and look at that and go, look what we did. We're like, but we didn't do what we know we're capable of doing. But in this moment right now, with your second book coming out, with all these people here to see you, knowing we're going to have a great party.
Don't get emotional.
I'm not emotional.
You're about to cry.
I'm not going to cry.
You are about to cry.
No, why would I cry?
I see those cry eyes.
Well, I'm just so proud of you.
Because you're proud. I know.
Yeah.
I know you're proud.
How awesome is it?
It is awesome. It is. You're so sweet and acknowledging the awesomeness when I'm just like frustrated and
Why
irritated.
are you frustrated?
Because it's just there's so much more. We have so much left to do and so much more to do. And there's so many people that need our help. I see all of that and just want it to be more and 10x and bigger and better and all of those things.
But don't you think having your book out there and having people be able to read how we can help them will inspire even a future group of people to come to our next event?
Yeah, I think that's the target. That's the goal.
That's the goal?
Yeah. It's not like this proud moment. I think that's a really honest thing for people to know about building a business is even when you have these moments where you think you should be proud, you think you should be excited, it's everything that you thought it was going to be. It's like the real process is the work. And I was so happy writing the book, even though I hated writing the book because it was like this constant, I was contributing to something. And so now celebrating something that I already worked on feels like I have to go do the next thing because like it's hard to celebrate.
I think that's the thing that you and I, someone who was asking me about work-life balance just a little while ago. And
What did you say?
I told them that if you structure your life right, then the work that you're doing in your life is the thing that balances it out because it allows you to be who you want, when you want, where you want, gives you total freedom, however you want. And when you think about you writing your book and you think about 140 people here to see you on your book launch party, and the impact thing that you 150, sorry. The thing that you and I are so consistent in is we know that room should have 15,000 people.
Yeah, there's just more people that need to be helped. So it just doesn't feel good. And there's not this moment of like, it feels good. And we did so much because there's still so many broken, messed up ideas out there and we're here to help them.
How big do you think we'll have to get where you and I will be like, we arrived?
I think it's never going to happen. I think about this all the time. I'm like, at what point is it going to feel that way? And I don't think it's ever going to happen. There will always be some bigger thing for us to go do and somebody to help and something that has captured our attention because we live on a broken planet and there are people that are really suffering and we provide the solution for business owners to create an impact and to create life in communities. But as soon as we feel like we're humming along on that, there'll be some other mission because that's what the world is that we live on.
That's the other thing I was asked to give examples and how good does it feel to help all these business owners and what are my favorite examples of the people I help. And it's so hard for me to think about the people I help because I think about the people that are still in desperate need of help. And so, yeah, you can talk about all the people you're helping, but then what about the millions of people that you're not yet helping that need help? You're worried about them. You meet them all day long. You've got people that are desperate, personal, professional, financial reasons through the business. They're wrecked. And we're striving to try to figure out a way to help them. And then I got to trigger over to the people that are killing it and then feel good about it. So I feel great about the people that are winning, but I have more concern for the people that we're not helping yet that are still suffering or struggling in business. And I think that's the thing about you and I is no matter how big we get, we're always going to be thinking about the person we're not helping.
For sure. Well, I think that's the value of the team because the team can pull out like, wait, you should stop and celebrate this and do this book launch party. And how amazing is it? Like I'm your biggest cheerleader and you're my biggest cheerleader when it comes to the books and the different milestones. But individually, I think this is why business owners do struggle, is because they can't promote themselves because they know the problems that they haven't yet solved. And so they're just like stuck. And so we do have to be better examples of promoting the wins and the celebrations, because that is important, and demonstrating that you should have a team of people around you who push you to acknowledge and recognize those things. Meanwhile, at some point, you got to get back to work.
Got to get back to the work. Start the work.
I knew you were going to try to tie in the book title there.
So where we're at today, your second book coming out, $250 million company. Yeah. Contrast that to the Age Gap Realness podcast.
Oh my gosh. Stop it. It's ridiculous. I think about this all the time. It's so ridiculous.
Are you glad you're not doing the Age Gap Realness podcast anymore?
And I am not glad, because the Age Gap Realness podcast was such an important stepping stone. Like, I'm not embarrassed by it. For sure.
We didn't know how to do podcasts.
We had no clue. We were just hanging out, doing our thing, trying to figure things out. What could we talk about? What would be interesting on the internet? Like, we had so many wrong ideas about how to launch something and how to properly promote something. And so to think 5 years ago that like that was the idea, it was such an important idea. And there was so much of us in that project. And it reminds me of how much I love doing things with you, because we had so much fun doing it. And today we still have fun, and that's why we built the business.
Now we got building billions.
But we rarely do this together. We should do more of it.
We should do more of it. I love working. I'm so proud of you. Congratulations on the release of your book.